And we're back for another GC. This is now the fourth and final week of 5v5. I know that we've been talking a whole lot about 3v3 recently, and there's going to be even more talk about that to come. But yeah, still 5v5 here. We're on our first match, and we're up against Spartan Max 77. He's a Kyber combatant, apparently. Before we get into our offense and defense strategies, let's go ahead and look at what he has roster-wise going for him. So this is him here. He has a risk rating of 70, which is good. Not good for us. Good for him, but not also just excruciatingly, painfully difficult. Like the last player we faced had like a 94 or something like that because they had an advantage in every single way. This guy has under 200 relic levels more than us, which I really got to look up how many relic levels are required for Ray, because I'm wondering if most of that is just Ray. I really don't feel like it's that much, but anyways. So he's got 200 there. He has Ray, and we don't, of course, which is kind of the norm at this point. Mod-wise, we have him beat, but not by huge margins. In fact, he even has more plus 15s than we do. We just have him pretty darn beat in the plus 25 and the plus 20 area. And then as far as Omicrons go, it's exactly the same. This is actually starting to become pretty consistent, where the Omicrons are really, at least in the upper area of Kyber, kind of, they're really starting to stack out as like these 4 or 5 that everyone has, you know, besides Starkiller, that changes things up a little bit. But yeah, we have both of the exact same 5. We have slightly better mods, but he has better relics and he has another GL. So we're not going into this quite like very underdogging, but at the same time, it's still going to be very challenging. We'll put that down. Let's actually go see what we set for defense. And I changed my defense up a little bit from last week. Not a whole lot, mostly placement. So I saw that this guy, typically to counter Lord Vader, he is taking in JMK, and my Lord Vader sucks. Like, if he could take in his JMK versus that would just be absolutely fantastic. The other teams are pretty much the same from last week. And then in the back wall, which is really where most of the strategy is, we put our JMK and our C to just kind of cause issues. To maybe if he kept another GL that he wouldn't be able to use against those. I put Darth Revan in the back here just because I didn't want to give away that we're still putting C on defense, because once you see Darth Revan without Malik, it really kind of tips you off. So those two are back there. Top is the same as it always is. JTR, Crew, Mon Mothma, Dash, whatever. That probably will be changed by the next 5v5. That's going to take him out. And then ships, I won't lie, I didn't have a lot of time to put thought into this. He leaves down a very specific 3, and I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get through all 3 of them. But I just kept this. Like, this has been very problematic for all of our opponents up until now. Like, this is what won us our last match. So we'll do our best on ships. And if we can't clear them, hopefully it just doesn't clear us. But I honestly don't know if that's going to be true. I didn't research too much into that. But yeah, this should be pretty easy to take down, at least this front wall. Like, Wampa will eat this team alive very easily. Ray, we're going to have to Jedi Master Luke that because we left something on defense. But I kind of knew that coming into this. These two, I'm not quite sure. Bounty Hunter should eat one of them alive, but they're not... Like, the gear on these isn't too high. We might be able to figure out a way to cheese one of those teams. And then his top is actually rather threatening. There's no Galactic Legends, but he's got both CLS and gas here, which means I have to use my own CLS and then probably General Grievous here. Iden will beat this, and I'm not even really sure what we're going to use. We're probably going to have to use Qui-Gon Jinn against this, and I kind of hate that. Not because of the speed on Darth Revan, but Nest stops my troopers, so I can't do that. But yeah, that's pretty much the game plan. So let's get to those plaques. All right, now those battles are going to get into play here. So we have to go with the obvious thing. Number one, we have to go for the bottom wall, and we have to take out this Iden team. Really only have one consistent counter for Iden, and that's Wampa. We've occasionally been able to use our GG, and that's been fun. And we actually did something kind of dumb here just because we had a pretty good gear advantage. We pressed, like we did a sub-auto for this one. We were putting it on auto sometimes, and we were just kind of guiding it where to go just to see what would happen. And they didn't really have enough damage to do much to us here. Because the issue with that is, if he doesn't use Icebreaker on the right turn that he's supposed to, like apparently he prioritized the Howl in some situations, then maybe they could deal enough damage. But with only Snow and Death being there, and both of them being under relicked, this really wasn't that hard. So yeah, we were able to kill everyone very quickly, and I think we win this for, you know, the standard 78. Yeah. So that went really well. We're going to go ahead and take in JMO versus Ray, and I've been liking this a little bit more than taking in C versus Ray. We had used C versus Ray for the longest time, but I think it's partially just because of the way my roster is built. I don't have a great like dark side tank built up, or like tanks built up in general, like plural. I don't have, that's not a big part of my roster. So typically we have to take in armor and 3 other characters, and then we beat this raid team for like 52 banners. And it's also still kind of sketch because they can a lot of times just kill my tanks rather than, in an ideal world, they would just remove the taunt and then go move on to the next tank and not be able to get to what's her face, to armor. But in my case, a lot of times she just kills everyone. So we've been relegating C to defense a lot recently, and I kind of like that. It helps shift things up because I don't use them a ton on offense right now, especially with Malgus now being confirmed, which is kind of huge news. I might just be able to leave C Malik on defense permanently because Malgus looks like a really good tank for Darth Revan, or rather, Darth Revan looks like a really good support for Darth Malgus. But yeah, this battle's going really stinking well. We kind of did this a weird way. In an ideal world, you want to have Resistance Hero Finn and R2 killed first because they're actually the most two problematic here. But we were just kind of we originally tried to just kill Rey because she's full offense, by the way. Like, this is how I would mod Rey if I had Rey. She had, I want to say 12,500 offense at R8, which it's a lot. Like, it's very, very good. But that being said, she didn't have any health primaries, so we just tried to kill her first. Didn't work out. And I don't know if we're just doing too much damage here, which is a fun thing to complain about. We don't end up getting like any of our protection back. Also, not having Hoda is kind of a bummer for that. So we go ahead and take in our Qui-Gon Jinn team versus Dash. This is a pretty standard count. I'm not really that worried either because there's a lot of Gear 12s on the enemy team. Like, I'm pretty sure the first AoE here is just going to wipe some of them. Although it doesn't really matter because they do have the Dash Omicron, so Vandor does get going here. But it's kind of okay. They keep pushing Jedi Anakin into his whatchamacallit, and he keeps getting triggered. So this is interesting. This is written in the kit. This is like not news to anyone who reads. But if you use Mace's special and you don't hit the character with Shatterpoint, then you don't get the turn, or you don't get the bonus turn for them, which it's very clearly written in his kit that that's how that works. But yeah, I didn't know that. I do now. So in that for pretty bad banners, it's kind of how Qui-Gon Jinn goes, unfortunately. But I need him on offense. I need that team. So now we're taking in our troopers versus this Jango BAM team. This is a pretty standard team, just to kind of get cool faster. I mean, fortunately, unfortunately, it wasn't fast enough. We're able to get right through it. And this is actually really nice because BAM lead's very good, and that counter from Bet Han would have actually given their team turn meter. But because of this Jango lead, it didn't do anything, so we still get to keep going here. So we go ahead and punch their BAM in the face just to trigger his Whistling Birds before we get to a dangerous spot where he can actually kill someone. Then we just go for the easy kill next, which is Jango. I'm going to try to line up a big hit to kill their Vet Han, because I don't want to have to deal with him coming back at us. But now he's dazed too, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, I love that fear. Also, it's kind of cool to know that when you kill a character and they revive, they get the fear 2 from Piet. I wouldn't have thought it worked that way, but anyways. Kurda is dead, and then Vet Han dies, and we win. 64 banners, about as good as you can get. So now we're just going after Mon Moth. I think we got into the back wall, and I think it was actually like pretty. No, it wasn't cheese. No, it wasn't. I don't remember the exact teams that are back there, but it was not cheese. It was really, really challenging, actually. There was a GL, there's Lord Vader, Maul, and some other difficult team that we're going to have to deal with. But yep, just going back through this battle again. Iden versus Mon Mothma, which is... We've done it a lot. It's a very easy battle, very simple battle, not a lot to say about it. I'm curious now how this is actually going to work in 3v3, though. I think they'll still counter each other. I guess it depends on the lineup, because one of the things that is a little worrisome with Kyle Katarn is he deals a lot of damage. It ultimately doesn't mean anything because of the amount of recovery they have because of all the assisting. But if you cut it down to only 2 characters, or I guess, 4 in total, because what's-his-face is there, maybe he just one-shots one of my Gear 12s. I guess at Relics, it probably doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm very curious to see how Iden is going to be in 3v3. When we recently made a video about what we thought of all the... Oh, actually, we didn't do this yet. That hasn't happened yet. Never mind. Stay tuned. But yeah, we have something coming in regards to Iden. Oh no, we did do it. Yeah, it's the GAC video. The GAC video where we talk about the Omicrons. Yeah, this fight is like super easy. It's just Bad Batch will win versus if SLKR is not present on the team, Bad Batch will win against First Order every single time. It's really kind of funny because obviously their kit has word for word synergy against Separatists, but this feels like a harder counter than General Grievous does. Like I was able to do this back when they were Gear 11s. It's a ridiculously successful counter, so really not much to say about it. But yeah, Iden, I think she's going to retain a lot of her value in 3v3. Now, I don't think she's going to get better like some characters. Like I think, Qui-Gon Jinn is going to get better, but I think Iden's going to be able to maintain. So this was actually really tricky. This took probably about a half hour for us to figure out. And that was how we were going to beat the CLS team and beat basically all the teams he had on defense, because I couldn't... He has gas on defense as well. I could not figure out how to split things so that we were going to be able to beat this team. But we had this Jedi team left over just in case he had SLKR in the back. He did not. And the only team that we can actually beat with this Jedi Knight Revan team is the Rebel team at this point. So it's what we have to go with. And this usually isn't super possible. With Jedi Knight Luke, all things are possible. So we're able to mark Chewie immediately. And this is a pro gamer move. And this chat to the chat on Twitch that we kept contemplating about what we wanted to do here. If we wanted to taunt, if we wanted to call Jedi Knight Luke to assist, both of which were wrong. What we need to do here is have Jedi Knight Revan assist. That way this buff that he has over his head, old Ben does, passes to Jedi Knight Revan, and then Jedi Knight Revan can use his AoE without being countered and killed and generating turn meter, throw it back to Jedi Knight Luke, and then Jedi Knight Luke can start getting out his big hit. So that's exactly what we do. We pass over strategic advantage, so now we can't be countered. We use the AoE, and we kill Chewie. So, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Like, I've seen a lot of people's chats, and a lot of them, I don't know if they're just trolls or they're bad players or what, but our chat has, time and time again, just given us good advice. So, shout out to you, Twitch chat. Did really stinking well here. Yeah, then we killed Han just because he was super squishy at that point. Not sure if we should have been actually killing the other Chewbacca, but as you can see, it doesn't really matter. Well, once Chewie goes down, the team usually just folds. So yeah, we got rid of this one, and now it's just CLS sitting there, which I guess he's okay. Stun him now because there's no Chewbacca. Beautiful. Mark him to, I guess, get protection back, and we win. 61 banners. Not super great, but I really needed that team to work. There's me saying really again. And we just went and took this is a weird team. This is a bad team, but this Lord Vader team with like a few First Order characters on there, which isIlo, he's unaligned Force user, so that's fine. But I don't know what Phasma's doing there. But yeah, when they don't have any damage dealer, they don't have Thrawn, not a damage dealer, but Fractures of Pain, Vader, or Maul, you can really just take in SLKR and Watt and be just fine. I really do like to have Watt still here just because he really helps get rid of the healing immunity, because you can only cleanse SLKR once every 3 turns, and if Lord Vader has really good timing and really bad timing for us on his healing immunity, it can end very poorly. And this is super broken and super cool. So I almost need to pause this here. So now we can see there's only 2 characters left. Lord Vader is about to get his ult, and he's going to take mastery from both these characters. You can see over both Royal Guard and Stormtrooper, we've siphoned them multiple times. So not only is Lord Vader not going to be taking in any positive mastery, but he's going to be taking in a lot of negative mastery. Not a little so that he's in a deficit, but a ton. And now, if you pay attention, for the rest of the battle, yeah, I go ahead and mention it there, the rest of the battle, their Lord Vader is going to do no more than 1 damage. Crit or not, he just does 1 damage after 1 damage after 1 damage. I think we slowed it down just so you can see there. 1 damage on a crit. It is absolutely bonkers. Dumbest game mechanic in the entire game. Typically, like, we've had this happen before, but I've never had it to the point where Lord Vader only had multiple allies that all had decreased mastery. So, stupid easy, guys. We might have even been able to do that without Watt. That is disgusting. So we go ahead and take in GG versus the small team. I was a little hesitant because we've done this before and it's failed once. I don't know what we did magically this time that it worked. I think I think getting multiple turns with B2, like B2 got both his turns on both the AoEs, so I think that helped immensely. Yeah, because we're not landing as many target locks. I mean, we got all the ones we could, except for on Maul. But yeah, this is going all right for the most part. Again, I have had it end very poorly for us, and I'm actually trying not to heal Newt here, because I wouldn't exactly hate it if he died. Sorry, Newt, but like, GG needs his bonus turns. So we got through Canderous there, got through Bow. We just go ahead and hit Watt so that we can hit someone with target lock, so we can, you know, increase our turn meter. And then we go ahead and see if we can land target lock on big boy over there, Maul. No point increasing his cooldowns because he already has his whatchamacallit, and we killed him, and they didn't kill any of us. So 60 bandos against Maul, I'll kind of take it. This was weird, but this was ultimately the right call. So we get the fleets now, and we've done everything we can on ground. We did really well on ground. I'm very, very happy with our very content with our performance there. Now we have to beat him in ships as well, though. So again, this is weird, but this is kind of what we had to do. He had the very he had Negotiator on defense, and it was the very, very I think he had Negotiator on defense. Anti-Malevolence comp. So we went ahead and just did the mirror here, because I didn't feel super comfortable with everything else. And of course, we run into the... there's no way we weren't going to run into this. I don't know why I'm complaining. The Malevolence bug, or rather the Vulture Droid bug, where we can't assist with the Vulture Droid that was resummoned. At least it feels like we did. So we're not getting all the things that we want to get, but luckily they have a lot of issues pinning down our Hyena, which is a really big deal, because Hyena is the one that controls this entire fleet. If he goes down, you lose. If he stays in, you win. So we're able to get him down. We're able to get through Fun Sack over there. And now we're going to click on the Vulture Droids to figure out which one is actually the real one. So yeah, this is Vulture Droid, and then you click on them, and it actually shows you if it's the summons. This is the real one, the one in the middle, and then the other ones say summon. They even have different artwork, which I think is kind of weird, but, you know, I'm not going to complain. So we get rid of the real Vulture Droid, and now we're just waiting for Spy to come out so we can nuke him. The Spy comes out and we nuke him. Works pretty well. So now I stand by this choice, which I guess I'm already giving away how it's going to go, but we should have taken in another character. So we're going to go ahead and take in First Order versus the Negotiator, because we need our Rebels to go in and take out their Executor, which is the strategy that we've been doing for most of the time. So we played this pretty much perfectly with what we had. So we stunned on Anakin in the opening rip. He's not quite below 40%. I think we actually do this right now. We count exactly how many health bars he has relative to his total amount, and we see that he's not below 40, so he's probably not. We're probably not going to trigger the Unending Loyalty and burn it, and also avoid the pretty big AoE. So we go ahead and we do our middle ability, which does the least amount of damage, just to kind of push him into that area, and it works perfectly. It works perfectly. So now we burn Unending Loyalty. We avoided the AoE. We're going to remove all that junk off of Y-Wing. This is my first time doing this battle, which is why it's taking me forever to get through things here. But yeah. Come on, Callum. Just click the button. There you go. All right. So we're trying to trigger / stun Gen Anakin now. And this is where we goofed up. This is where we really, really messed up. So we really, really, really needed to have Ebon Hawk in here to rip the stealth off. If we had Ebon Hawk right now, we would have been able to rip the stealth off, kill Jedi Anakin, and they wouldn't have been able to do crap against us. However, we didn't even take Ebon Hawk in. We didn't use him anywhere else, but we didn't take him in. And this is kind of where we get Jedi Anakin just stays in stealth, and it buys the enemy team way too much time. Because Negotiator fleet is very problematic if you just keep letting them live, which I guess this is how everything works in the game. If they just keep on living and you don't take any of them down, because they have a lot between Unending Loyalty, Plo Koon, and I think they have another mechanic in there, but they just have a lot of survivability. You have to start picking them off quickly, and if you can't, they will just take you over. So that's pretty much what we're going to see here. We do go ahead and pass the turn to Crew just so we can get a kill there. Not just even get the kill, but we wanted to get the health steal. Obviously wasn't enough. They killed our silencer. And this is where it really sucks in the position in our roster. Because we don't have Rey, we don't have Raddus, and because we don't have Raddus, we do not have a cleanup fleet. We are entirely hosed as far as cleanup goes. So if we fail a battle, that's it. We do not full clear. So that's pretty much it for this one, unfortunately. As much as I would have liked to take this down, made a critical error and not bring in an Ebonhawk. Even this is really sad too. Even killing Jedi Anakin, there's just nothing we have to take this down. Nothing we have. If we had Raditz can handle Negotiator without Jedi Anakin pretty darn well. But yeah, so this one's gonna fail, and then we're gonna go ahead and do our burner and Rebels versus Executor for what I think is the 4th time in a row now. And it's gone really well the first 3 times, like very, very, very good. So yeah, we got our defeated 3 banners there. So we go ahead and take on our burner. Standard Executor comp, I think he's only R8 or something like that. Go in, we try to go for the perfect burner, which a perfect burner is getting rid of all the enemy cooldowns, and at the same time, them having little to no turn meter, which is exactly what we get, which is super cool. We would have to wait it out, though, so that part always sucks. You don't have to watch that, so that's nice, but we do. So we did just a little bit of damage to his Razor Crest, so they healed his Razor Crest. We're not able to immediately kill our Xanadu Blood. We do not use the AoE because we don't want to proc we do not want to proc what's it's called stealth on Xanadu Blood. Get him out immediately. So this is great. This is going really well. They then bring an IG, which is even better because then they just keep throwing these debuffs everywhere, and when they throw those debuffs everywhere, they get rid of them. So now we're gonna try to go after we're not going to go after Houndstooth right now because he gets bonus tenacity when there's no breach out there. And I really didn't want to have to... We weren't going to be able to land it. And getting through Houndstooth without the shield disruptor is very hard. It's very, very challenging to do. So we just went ahead and brought in our Phantom or Ghost, or whatever his name is, just in an effort to kind of... Not control, but yeah, control the field. Like, the more characters or the more ships I can get in faster... and the more damage I can do with the less they have, the better. So now Breach is out, and we go to try to land the shield disruptor. We land it, and they immediately rip it off. So that's less than ideal. But we at least do get to keep him from taunting, so that is very nice. And then we go ahead and just go right for the Razor Crest here. Not a lot they can do. Without constantly getting Breach out, they can't just keep taunting. And then, what's-his-face comes in. Make sure to get rid of his taunt so that we can go after Razor Crest. Stuck behind another taunt. Luckily, they dispelled all my debuffs, so we were able to take in Cassian and just smoke Razor Crest. Razor Crest is out. We're able to get a nice little assist there on Slave 1. And Slave 1 is out immediately. Then we're able to go ahead and use our ultimate, and there's just really not a lot they can do. We do land the Shield Disruptor immediately, so that definitely makes things go faster, but at the same time, he was going to die no matter what. They weren't close to getting their ult. So we got 46 there. We were not able to get the full clear, and our opponent did do really well on ships. They were able to one-shot everything over here, but because they did so badly, which I guess we're going to shame them, they did so badly on ground. They dropped multiple battles. They dropped it on JTR. They dropped it on Mon Mothma. They dropped it on our Maul team in front. Even getting the higher priority zone, which now fleet is worth more than ground by a small margin, they lost because they couldn't beat C in the back. I'm guessing I think they had 4 GLs on offense. Yeah, 4 GLs on offense. I'm guessing they burned a lot of them on the front wall, obviously burned one on Kenobi, and then just couldn't get through this. And I think they probably had the impression that they just needed to clear ships because ships was worth more. But again, they just didn't do well enough on ground. So we got our win here. That was really nice. Definitely learned something about First Order versus Negotiator. Really kind of like that comp. Just need to get better at it. So that is going to be it for today, guys. Thank you for watching. And as always, stay awesome.